when you have a conference that has the words freedom, it immediately divides us into us and them. It begins to grade us and brings us into classes, whether we are for or we are against. I'm encouraging everybody to pay attention during these 2 days. Whether you are for freedom online or not, you're most welcome to listen and follow.
On the 6th and 7th of September 2012, Kenya hosted the Freedom Online Conference at the UN complex in Nairobi. This was the first conference of its kind to be held in Africa after the inaugural one held at The Hague, Netherlands in 2011. The Hague Conference saw to the formation of the Freedom Online Coalition, with 17 states taking up membership. This year's event attracted more than 450 delegates, a remarkable stride from the 150 that took part in the first conference. In attendance were ministers and high-ranking government officials, civil society, bloggers, companies and international organizations.
The internet has given us tremendous opportunities for development, entrepreneurship, democracy, and not only in the Netherlands but across the world.
Kenya's not only been a place where there's been innovation and where there's an effort to make the internet accessible, but it's also playing an important diplomatic role, which we really appreciate, in bringing other African governments together here and beginning to explore the possibilities of challenging those governments who want to control content on the internet.
The first day of the conference was full of ambition, with delegates presenting on the need for an open internet, while the second day centered on discussions on dealing with realities on the ground.
One thing that the Arab revolutions has succeeded in doing actually is to transform masses of people, especially in the middle class, in our societies, from non-believers in the internet, or what I like to call internet agnostics, into believers in the internet. And that's a lesson that our governments have learned after the Arab revolutions, and they are now trying to so-called regulate the internet.
The conference aimed at getting more Africans to take advantage of the economic and social benefit of an internet without inhibitions.
The government of Nigeria, appreciates the work that's been done all over the world, in the development of new media technologies, and has put in place a number of initiatives. It has created, for example, a whole ministry in charge of communication technology. It has established various agencies, development agencies for information technology, regulatory agencies as well.
The deliberations at the Freedom Online Conference were designed to come up with policy recommendations for possible enactment by respective governments. This was by building partnerships which would enhance the respect of individual rights and guarantee fundamental freedoms online.
The position of UNESCO is that freedom of expression exists offline as well as online. So it's a problem if governments only see the problems and want to focus on the problems, because really the focus should be on the right to freedom of expression. How do you protect it, and how do you make it possible for people to speak freely and have access to the internet? So the problems, how do you deal with them? You bring the international standards. International standards say it's not permissible for a government just to censor the internet. It must meet 3 conditions if it's to be acceptable.
The conference was infused with fresh debates at the various workshops, which were designed to impart practical knowledge on internet trends, benefits and safety.
So for me, we have to be careful to restrict for the freedom, and especially usually we tend to restrict the freedom of others, not ourselves.
I'm afraid about the power the government has. And when somebody once told me that the real power in a gun is not in the firing but in the restraint. So when you know how much power already government has, trying to hand it more powers is dangerous.
The side events were equally stimulating. The Tech Hub tours and exhibitions were a platform for businesses to take a proactive role in displaying their innovations.
So it's definitely been a pleasure hosting the conference here. It's always nice to see people are interested in tech in Nairobi, and that we're not the only ones. And it's definitely good to get people around and get a feel for what is going on here. And it's something that we are very happy to do.
The Women's Agenda session and Business Roundtable addressed the need for creativity in businesses, the importance of universal internet access, and the need to enhance internet uptake to realize tangible development.
It was tremendous to be in a room full of amazing people, both men and women, who are interested in issues of what the women's agenda is online. There's lots of innovation, lots of different ways we can go, and lots of people eager and already acting on the ground. We're not talking theory anymore, we're doing it. And so I'm leaving optimistic and excited for the future.
I think the internet economy is a great place for the youth to make money. And the only way that the youth can make money in the internet economy is to develop awareness and knowledge, and a deep knowledge of the internet. You see, we found that whenever you found somebody who was successful on the internet, usually it was because they were very knowledgeable about what was possible. That was the number one factor, more than even access, more than even cost, more than even money or anything like that. Because at the end of the day, if you're not interested in something, you cannot make anything out of it.
The outcomes were refreshing and far-reaching. First up was the launch of Digital Defenders Partnership Fund, a kitty that will be used to help support, secure and advance human rights where governments have suppressed democratic debates online.
I'm here on behalf of HIFOS, and I have the honor to launch a new fund, the Digital Defenders Partnership Fund. The Digital Defenders Partnership Fund is initiated and supported by the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the US State Department and the United Kingdom, and enjoys the broader support of the Freedom Online Coalition.
I am therefore pleased to announce that the UK has contributed £500,000, and that's about $750,000, to the Freedom Online Coalition's Digital Defenders Partnership. The partnership will offer rapid release grants to help keep the internet open when governments attempt to shut it down in order to suppress democratic debate.
Then more good news came as Tunisia adopted the Freedom Online Declaration, making it the newest member to join the coalition, the third in Africa after Kenya and Ghana, and bringing the total number of coalition partners to 18.
I have the honor to announce that Tunisia has adopted the Online Freedom Declaration, and consequently becomes the first country in the MENA region and the third one in Africa after Ghana and Kenya to integrate the coalition. We are actually 18 members, 18 countries defending net freedom, and we seek to have next year more members from Africa and from the Middle East region joining our efforts to make change.
After 2 days of very captivating discussions, informative keynotes, testimonials and lively interaction, 2 landmark conclusions were made. Namely, there is need for a free and open internet, and that there is need for responsible use of internet, particularly to promote development and safety.
Ensuring that the world continues to reap the benefit of an unrestricted internet is the main message that came from the deliberations. It is a collective mission of everyone who took part to ensure the resolutions achieved here go on to make the world a better place.
I'm happy to underscore that 17 Freedom Online Coalition partners attended. 450 delegates took part in the conference. A total of 42 nationalities were represented. 17 African countries were present. All of East African nations were present. Kenya is pleased that Tunisia has chosen to be the third African country to join and chose to do so here in Kenya. Therefore, I wish to extend my gratitude to you all for participating, sharing knowledge and some very moving testimonies that we had. I further thank representatives of different countries who outlined their government's position on this critical aspect of modern life. And with those remarks, I now declare the second Freedom Online Conference in Kenya officially closed. Thank you.
The 2013 Freedom Online Conference will be held in Tunis, Tunisia. notes,